Hello, it's Trisha from Trisha's Cards and Crafts, and welcome to my What's on Wednesdays. And today I'm doing a simple stamping. I have changed it slightly because I'm doing 2 cards instead of 1, only because I really wanted to use these papers up as well. So I've done a very simple card. I have got a bit of card, so a layer of card as well on this one. So I've just got stamp, ink and paper or card. I've done the inside as well, and I've done the envelope, so we've got everything will match. And then because the papers are just so nice, and you can just use the papers on their own, I've cut up one of the sheets of DSP and I've just matted it onto some more cardstock that's behind, and I thought I'd use boho blue, but I haven't, but it does match, it's fine. And I've also stamped on the inside and used a little strip of the card of the paper on the inside as well, just to tie everything together. Haven't decorated the envelope because I didn't use the stamp to stamp the image, and as it's white I didn't want to put it on the card as well, on the envelope. So I've just left the envelope as it is, and it's not an envelope that's very easy to use the paper on as well. It wouldn't quite fit, so I'm not putting anything on the envelope at all. So you can do, if you want to, you could stamp the daisy, the flower on the envelope in the boho blue. That would look nice as well. But this is what I've done. So I just thought I'll show you what I've done, what I'm going to do. I am going to change this slightly. I used pumpkin pie for the centre of the flowers, but I'm going to use wild wheat instead this time. I just thought it would be nice to do some sort of, to make it look a bit more autumnal, being as we are in autumn at the moment still. So I thought that's what we'll do. So these are the cards that we're going to make, or I'm going to make. So the first, we might as well do, I think we'll do the one with the paper first. What I've got a DL size card and envelope. I should just scored, and then I've cut a piece of the DSP, the card, the coordinating colour card, and it's just 1/4 inch smaller altogether than the card base, so you get 1/8 inch on either side and at each end. And then, so the card itself is 10 centimetres, or yeah, well, what is it? Let me get my ruler and then I can tell you exactly what it is. It is, if it's in inches, it's 3 7/8 by, my head is in the way, I'm sorry, 8 1/4. So that's the size of the base. Then the mat is 1/4 inch less, so it's 8 inches by 3 5/8. And then the piece of DSP is going to be 7 7/8, or 7 and, well, should be 8 1/4, but I don't think, I can't see whether I've got my ruler in the right place. I think it's 7 3/4, but I might have just got a little bit extra on that one. And that one is 3 1/2, the width. Okay, so that fits nicely on there. I've used a piece of a little scrap of the DSP that's left over, the bit that I cut off the top half of the paper, I'll show you in a moment, and a white scrap of white card for the sentiment, which I thought I'd left on here somewhere, but it's not. Don't worry about that, that's fine, because the only stamping I'm doing is just that little bit of white. Here it is, There we go, this one. Oh, it's there. It was there all the time. So I'm just using this piece to stamp the sentiment on. So that's the only bit of stamping that we're doing. So I'm going to stick these on ready. So this will be done then, more or less. All we do then is stick the sentiment on. I mean, if you want to, you can also add embellishments. You can add ribbon. There's but if you just got the papers and you just want to make up a card, you don't necessarily need to use the card behind it, because it will show up just as nicely with the, you don't have to have a layer, you can just leave it without the layer, because I think that will look just as nice on there without the layers on as well. And the other thing you could do is just use a pen, use some ink, and just do like a wiggly line all the way around, and that just frames it as well. But as it is, I'm going to use, I've already got the card cut and everything, so I'm going to use the card on here. So that's got a nice small border all the way around it, and this is going to go on. I think I might just use some seal, hopefully there'll be some in here that I can get out. There we go. I'm a bit late, I know. This week everything's running a little bit slower than I wanted it to. Just run out of energy this weekend. I don't know what happened to me. We had a lovely day on Saturday. We had a lovely craft day with session, and we were doing Christmas crafting, making cards and little boxes and all sorts, and it was lovely. But I don't know, I was very tired afterwards. But it was lovely and I really enjoyed it. I'm so glad I did it. But I've been tired ever since. And I've got a bit of a full week on as well, because I had to go in for an extra half a day this week to work, because we have a big team meeting where everybody gets together. We do it sort of 3 times a year now, I think it was. It used to be every quarter, but now it's 3 times a year. And I might do the inside of the card at the same time, being as I've got the ink out. So I've used the sentiment from the stamp set for the outside, but I have also used, I'm afraid, the Peaceful Moments stamp set, because I just like this one, wishing you every happiness this special day will bring. So that's going to go on the inside. You don't need to use a different one. You can just write happy birthday, or you could leave it blank. You could do whatever you want, or you could leave because I think the card looks quite nice without it anyway. But you could leave the sentiment off the front and just put wishing you the brightest birthday on the inside. So that is completely up to you, because I think that looks quite nice on its own. You don't really need to add anything else. Obviously I'm going to, because I've already done everything ready, but you don't have to if you don't want to. So I'm going to cut this to 3/4 of an inch, I'm hoping. So I'll just cut it to here. I don't know, maybe a little bit more this time. Hello. Sorry, my daughter's just come home. So there we go. So that's going to be 1 inch. So I'm going to cut a piece now, 1 1/4 inches. The other one I did was 3/4 of an inch, but I cut a bit more off. So this one's fine. It's not a problem. So here we go. Don't need this now. Whoops. Put it away. Right, so to do this, I think I need a new blade in my cutter, my trimmer. Right, I'm going to cut this just a little bit longer than I need it to be. And then I'm going to cut it in the middle. And then from each side, I'm going to go to where that cut finished. There. And then I'm going to go from the opposite side to that place again. So that has now got like a flag end on it. And then I'm going to stick this onto, I'll use this, onto the background. There we go. Stick this on here. So I've got a margin all the way around. Then I'm going to cut this just a little bit longer than that. Hopefully that was straight. And then again I'm going to cut up the middle and then cut from the side to the centre and from the side to there. So I've got my flag end on both pieces. So this then I'm going to, you could just stick it straight down, but I'm going to use some dimensionals for this one, just because I think it sort of needs a little bit extra to, because it's the same colour more or less as the background, it just needs to be lifted up a little bit so that it gives a little bit of a shadow behind it. Otherwise I wouldn't have put it on dimensionals and it would have looked okay either way. Again, you can put it down at the bottom, you can put it at the top, you can put it right at the top, you can put it wherever you want. I think I will put it, I don't want to cover all the flowers up, that's the trouble. So I'll put it there, I think. So just here. So there's the first card made. So there's my other card. So I've got a bit more at the top, this one's a bit more central, so I've put that there, so you can see it's slightly bigger than the other one, but it's fine, whichever, they're never going to be two the same. So that is my first card. So we've got one envelope for that one, and I should have another envelope, there we go, for this one. Okay, so those are that's the first card. Now for the second card, let's just remind ourselves, this one here. Okay, I've got a C6 card base. There we go. And so I've got a C6 card base, which is 4 1/8 by 5 7/8. I've cut a mat to go on top of that, which is 5 5/8 by 3 7/8, and then a white piece of card to go for the top panel, and that one is 5 3/8 by 3 5/8. So that's those, and the envelope goes with it as well. So I'm just going to stick this on here first. I do definitely need to get a new blade for my trimmer. There. So I'm just going to stick this down ready, and then I'll just be able to, once I've stamped the images on, I've just chosen 2 of the images, the flower images for this one, and the leaf, and the colours I've got the copper clay, which is the same as this, and then I've got, as I said, I've got the old olive and I've got the wild wheat. I think they look quite nice together. So I'm just going to bring a scrap piece to go underneath, in case I stamp it off, which I probably will. And oh, I just need to clean this a second. Forgot about that. I've got a squeaky cleaner again. There we go. I think I've got the colour off that. I don't want to be stamping blue, do I? And that one. There we go. All cleaned. Right. Sorry, I've got. So I'm using. This image and that image, and I'm just using the small inner piece and the leaf. Okay, and obviously I'm using this one. Okay, right, so I'm going to use copper clay for the flowers. Could do it the other way around and use wild wheat, and again, just because I stamped it in a certain way for the other one, it doesn't mean to say you need to do it like that. So maybe we'll do a little, no, I think I might keep it to that for this one as well, but we'll see what it turns out like in a moment. So I'm going to use this one that way around. And the copper clay comes out very dark, but it does dry lighter. So I'm going to put that one there. And then I'm going to do another one of these about here. And then another one at the top. So there we go, that's that one done. And then I'm going to use this one. Oops, I'm going to put it around this way, and I'm going to go in between. Just going to do 2 of these. There we go. So those are all my flowers done. I'm going to use, actually, I'm going to do the envelope and the inside of the card as well while we're at it. So I'll use this one again for the inside of the card, just here, and the envelope just there. There we go. So that's that part of it done. Then I'm going to do the centre, which will be wild wheat this time. When I first saw the wild wheat, I didn't really like it, but it has grown on me because I think it looks very much as if it's like a goldy colour. So if you are doing Christmas cards and you want a bit of gold effect on your cards, I think this looks really good instead of gold. Let me just do these centres. And it doesn't matter too much if you don't get them in exactly the right position. And finally, that one. I did get it on my fingers. So that's that almost done, but I'm just going to move that out of the way so that I can do the envelope. There. And the inside of the card. Whoops. Here, whoops, turn that around, facing the other way. There we go. So that's the inside. Now the leaf. So I'm going to use old olive for the leaf. That away. And I did use old olive for the sentiment as well. So we'll see. Just stamp up, ink up the leaf, and then what I did, I stamped it and I stamped it again. So it's just a fainter image the second time, so it's second generation stamping. So I'm going to put that there and there. So it's off the page. This one, I'm going to do that there. And there. This one hopefully will be here and there, and the last one, might put that one over here and there. Again, it doesn't matter how you stamp them, it's completely up to you. And then on the inside of the card, I will put one here. Okay. So you can see that. And then on the envelope, I'll put one there. There we go. So that's all the stamping done, I think, except for the sentiments. So I think I will carry on and do the sentiment in with the same colour again. So I'm using the old olive. You could use the wild wheat or even the copper clay, but I think it looks quite nice with the old olive. So I'm just going to put it here because I think that's a nice space for me to put my sentiment. Just worked out right. So that's that one. And then on the inside, I'm going to just use that wishing you every happiness this special day will bring again from the other Peaceful Moments stamp set. There we go. But again, you can use any sentiment you want. There we go. So that one's done as well. So I can put the ink away. And now we can stick this on the front. See, it has dried quite a lot, so it's more or less the same now colour as the card itself. Here we go. So we can just stick this on as well now. Again, if you've got ribbon to match, you can use ribbon on these cards. You can use any embellishments that you might have. But because I'm just trying to show you that you can make a nice effective card really simply without anything, and I do think this looks nice without anything as well. You can just leave it as it is. If you haven't got all those things, you don't have to use them and you still get a nice card. There is ribbon that matches the copper clay, and there is ribbon that matches there's a boho blue as well, but I don't think I've got them to hand at the moment, so I won't be using those at the moment. So those are the cards that we've made today. So I've got the envelope and card for this one, and a card and envelope for the other one. So they look very similar. I don't know which one I prefer, whether I prefer the pumpkin pie or the wild wheat. If you've got a preference, let me know. See which one you prefer. Let me know in the comments, perhaps. Okay, thank you very much. And here's the other two cards. Whoops. There we go. So we've got those two as well. Okay, so those are the 4 cards, or the 2 cards. Let me get rid of this. There we go. Those out of the way. So those are the cards for today. So thank you very much for joining me. And I will see you again on Friday for my Stepped Up on Friday. No, Fancy Fold Friday on Facebook Live. Okay, thanks again for joining me, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.